As when the Lubavitch Rebbe turned 80, so it does not have the same energy as when I was younger. But if I connect myself to the younger people, I'll keep my energy. Young people keep the older generation young, and then if the young people use the experience of the older people, so you'll make less mistakes. You don't have to go through the same mistakes that we went through. So the combination of both generations, the older generation and the new generation, it's a beautiful thing. But some of us tend to say, I want to learn it my way. Let me make the mistakes and learn. So whatever works, it's fine. But I just wanted to actually discuss something very relevant, that most of us keep it, our parents keep it. This week's Parsha of Shemini, talks about kosher food. Now, kosher food has two parts. Let me have your attention, guys. Kosher food has two parts. I'm not talking about slaughtering, you know what I'm saying? It could be the same cow, same chicken, same sheep, but there's a difference. If you have it slaughtered according to the law, then it's kosher. And if it's not slaughtered, they kill him electrically, then you can't eat it. I'm not talking about that. What's the difference there? That's something else. But there are certain animals that the Torah says you're not allowed to eat. You cannot feed from them. Right? If there are mammals or animals that actually walk on 4 feet, again, what's the sign? People, everybody knows, right? Split hoofs and chew their cud. Exactly. When you talk about fish, they have to have fins and scales. When you talk about birds, we don't have a real signs, but they have to be those types of birds that are not birds of prey. They don't attack others. That's when eagle, vulture, these things are not kosher. But chickens, pigeon, whatever, ducks that are more tame, you're allowed to eat. So we have to find out really, why did God command us to have a special diet? What's the reason? I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it. But why can't I eat whatever I want? What's wrong? So we're going to discuss that a little bit. But thank God, whenever science goes ahead and progresses, we actually understand our religion even more. Again, I'm not saying it becomes more correct. It was correct all the time. But we understand it more. We're not afraid if science, continues to progress. Actually, it's better. We can use the science to understand God. You know why? Because science was created by God, the world is created by God, and the Torah was given with the same God. So there can't be a contradiction. So we're going to talk about, scientific a little bit about the food that we eat. We all know, guys, that it's basically the answer is we are what we eat. But I just wanted to bring a little bit of, scientific proof. Whatever food we eat has an effect on the person. If you eat healthy food, has an effect on your healthier person. If you eat unhealthy food, obviously has a negative effect on our bodies. Not only that, the type of a food that we eat doesn't only have an effect on us, but it could have effect on others too. I'm sure you all know, when let's say a lady's pregnant, is carrying a baby, the fetus in the stomach. So obviously certain foods that she eats, if it's not healthy, will have an effect on the baby too. We're doing like some studies, God forbid, kids that are autistic. So again, the doctors didn't exactly find the connection, but they say, parents that smoke, mothers that smoke during their pregnancy, or they take a lot of coffee or things that have caffeine, so they find autism more with their children. Exactly what the connection is, I don't know if they've proven it or not. A few years I was studying it, it wasn't proven yet. Maybe it's proven by now. But again, they saw that autism happens more with people that either smoke or they take a lot of caffeine. So now this lady's, whatever, smoking, or she's actually, taking the coffee, but has an effect on the child too. Has been to a certain extent proven. Also, even let's say if the baby is not in the mother's stomach, once, mothers give birth and they want to nurse the kid, every doctor will tell you, do not have onions, don't have chocolate. The mothers can't have, uh, garlic before they nurse the baby, because the food that the mother eats affects the milk. And these things are too heavy. They cause gases or stomach pain for the child. So, thank God for science, we have seen that the food that we eat has an effect on us, has an effect on the fetus, even has an effect on the milk of the mother. So she has to be careful what she eats or drinks before nursing the baby. Clear so far? So now the Torah tells us that the food that we eat doesn't only have an effect on us regarding our physical health, but even our spiritual health. Every person has a lot of good character traits. Actually, we have a lot of good things in us. The Torah compares human beings to land. When you go on earth, you find a lot of minerals, a lot of good things. In every human being, there's a lot of good things. But the animals that the Torah tells us we can't eat is because they have negative character traits. They're usually wild beasts, or let's say whatever, that are vicious. So the Torah says don't eat a lion, for example. Don't eat snakes, because they have certain negative character traits. And when we eat it, right, because it becomes part of our flesh and blood, we actually get those negative character traits with us. But again, the animals that Torah permits, like sheep or chicken, they're more tame. Now there are some animals we don't know what's negative about them. What's so bad about a rabbit? I don't know. What's so bad about shrimp? I don't know. But again, obviously God does know. So some of the negative character traits we see, some we don't. Actually they were saying, how can we find amongst Jews they're so passive? You don't find them blowing up buses, Never happens, doing crazy stuff. I don't know exactly what the reason is, but again, one of the answers that are given is a type of a food that we eat, because we don't eat vicious animals. So our character trait, stays very good. So one thing we always encourage everybody, guys, you have a very pure soul, which was given to you as a gift by God. Not only that, your body is a gift by God too. The body is not ours. It's not, it's my body, I do whatever I want. No. It's a gift that God gave to us. Your body is a gift of God. Your soul is a gift of God. And your souls are very sensitive. They're very sensitive to godliness. So the food for your soul is kosher food. I know sometimes it's difficult, but in America it's pretty easy, guys. You go to any Ralph's, to any Vons, you find kosher food. Thank God in Tarzana, Encino, Woodland Hills, Los Angeles, you have so many kosher restaurants. It's a pleasure when I go to these kosher restaurants. I see young guys like you. Honestly, they come with their friends and they're eating kosher food. They could go somewhere else that's cheaper. McDonald's is cheaper, right? Whatever, what is it, Jack in the Box? Chick-fil-A, they're all much cheaper. But again, you guys are aware of the purity of your soul and you want to keep it pure. So because of that, you go to kosher restaurants, even those more expensive. Really, you guys are heroes. Continue doing that and invite your friends, the ones that don't keep kosher yet, invite them to kosher restaurants. Some of them have a lot of good, delicious food, correct? I'm going to ask this. Which restaurant, kosher ones, did you like that we went to? Orange Delight. You see, Orange Delight is one of them. It's right in Sherman Oaks. What about, what's that dairy one? Street Cafe? That's good. Awesome, guys. Let's see you in kosher restaurants. Thanks for listening.